About Gemara. Today's Daf Nun Sunday is Daf Nun Vav. We're up to the bottom of the page by the two dots. And now the Gemara continues talking about the Kabbalahs and the Karm Shlamim. Remember, is 2 days and 1 night. Says the Gemara. Menayin ledam. Part of every carbon is the last matid, the one that enables you to eat the carbon, the mizbeach, to get to receive their fats, is you have to sprinkle the blood. So we say, menayin, how do you know ledam blood? Shenifsul b'shkia zachama. How you know blood? If the shkia goes by and you didn't sprinkle the blood, that's it. The carbon is possible. Shenema, because l'chayda you can eat the carbon 2 days and a night. Maybe also the same thing by sprinkling the blood. Shenema, it says b'yoyim hikrivoy azivchay. It says in the pasuk that if you bring a carbon shlamim, the day you makriv your carbon, your ochel, you can eat it, and then it says, and tomorrow, the next day, and the leftover is you have to and so on. Which means that's how we learn. You learn 2 days and a night. So it says b'yoyim. It says the day you makriv. Makriv is sprinkling the blood. That's called makriv. As zivcha the carbon, you can eat it. B'yoyim she'ata zavech ata makriv. The same day you shecht is the day you sprinkle the blood. By the way, from here we learn Rabbeinu Yeinu writes brachas. Here you learn out the whole idea of mincha has to be daven before shkia. Now we know that when it comes to shkia, there's a big argument of Rabbeinu Tam and others. You always heard about Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Tam holds that the shkia is not the way we have shkia when the sun sets, but rather a long time later, 3 and a quarter meal later. And there's two opinions what a meal is. Whether the meal is 18 minutes, so it would be 54 and a quarter, be like 58 and a half minutes, or a meal is 24 minutes. So then you're talking about like a good, 90 minutes later. That when and then the main time before Shabbos ends much later because he holds shkia always means safe shkia. When it comes to mincha, generally we learn it's tchila shkia. However, there are more in Shulchan Aruch clearly paskins. I think it's like Amavov. He clearly paskins that you can daven or you can daven mincha until tzeisak achavim, which would seem that he learned that shkia over here means the end of shkia, not the beginning of shkia. So this din has an impact on today when we daven mincha. Anyways, that's how you learn the pasuk b'yom b'kriv zivchay. So the Gemara says b'yom iyat tezavech iyat makriv. You can only sprinkle the blood the day the yeshech, not the following day. Says the Gemara, what are you talking about? Hanaboila. This very pasuk is not here to tell you about sprinkling the blood that ends by shkia. Legufe tell you that you can eat for 2 days and a night. That's what the pasuk says. The pasuk says here that you bring the carbon that day and the following day. That's what the purpose is. Says the Gemara, no, you're right. That's the purpose, but there's also another halacha. You know why? Because there's extra words here. Because in case of so, name a crow. Let the pasuk say b'yom zivcha, the day you shechted, you eat, and the following day. Why does it say he krivoy? It says in the pasuk he krivoy azivcha. The yom he krivoy azivcha. Just said b'yom. He said b'yom zivcha, the day that you brought your shech to the carbon, that day and the following day. By saying he krivoy, you're telling us another thing that same day he krivoy, you have to sprinkle the blood. The day that you shechted, you have to sprinkle blood. But the day you didn't shech, the following day it's too late. Says the Gemara, "V'dilma, how do you know? Maybe the Torah, interesting question. Maybe what the Torah is saying is, when the clock starts ticking 2 days and a night from whenever you sprinkle the blood. The day you sprinkle the blood, that's when you start calculating 2 days and a night. So if you sprinkle the blood today, then today and tomorrow is when you can eat. If you sprinkle it tomorrow, then tomorrow and the following day you can eat. Maybe that's what the pasuk is telling you. So maybe this is what the pasuk is telling you. If you sprinkle blood today, you eat it today. And tomorrow. If you sprinkle the blood tomorrow, then you eat tomorrow and the following day. Says the Gemara, if that's pshat, the name of Krah, the pasuk you say, the yom hikriva yachol, the day that you brought up, you sprinkle the blood, you eat, or machas tomorrow. What does the word zivcha means when you shechted it? Why do you have to say the word? We're not talking about the shechita. The focus is on the sprinkling of the blood. Zivcha lamali. What's the evidence? The yom shata the day you shech at the mekarva, you need to sprinkle the blood. And the yom shiyat is the day you don't shech at the makriva, you don't sprinkle the blood. Itma. Now we have an interesting discussion. So what's the carbon shlamim? A carbon shlamim is 2 days and a night. Now we learned there's pigul. There's two kinds of pigul. One is while you shechted it, or while you sprinkle the blood, or while you receive the blood, you transported the blood. You had in mind to eat it in the wrong place. That's called pigul chutz l'mekayma. It's a lot. And then you have pigul chutz l'zmana. You had in mind to eat it beyond the time the Torah allotted for this carbon. And if you did that, then even if you ate in the right time, it's possible. So what happens to Karm Shlum? Karm Shlum is you can eat it 2 days and the night in between. What happens if you had in mind to eat it the following night? Now, a Karm Shlum, you don't burn it the following night. You only burn it the third morning. So how do we treat the intervening night? So we have an argument in Chizki Rabbi Yochanan if that's called pigul or not. When does it really have the status of Nisa? So you eat you shechted, you had in mind, I'm going to eat it the night of the third. Chizki Amakasha. It's not pigul because it's not really Nisa yet until the following morning. But Torah says the Nisa you burn. Rabbi Yochanan is possible. You can no longer eat anymore. That's already the beginning of Nisa. And therefore, it's as if it's pigul. Yet it wasn't decided, it wasn't determined yet that it gets reifa. Then it gets conferred that status. It's possible you can no longer eat it. A similar question now is, what happens if you ate it that night? Will you be chayiv for noisa? We know that the noisa you burn in the morning. You can no longer eat it at night. What's the status of the food during that night? You cannot burn it, but nor can you eat it. So machlek is the same machlek Oichel Shlishi Chizkiah says potter into Sreifa wasn't yet transferred to Sreifa. Rabbi Yochanan Chayav Yichle Mechir, you can no longer eat it. Says you want a Tanya Kavos Rabbi Yochanan is an open price like Rabbi Yochanan. Kochim Anacholin L'Yom Echad Kochim that were eaten for one day. Mechashvin Bedomon. You think about the blood. Misheteshka Hachama. Kochim that are eaten one day. Then if you think that you're going to sprinkle if you could think bedaman from shkia and onwards, as far as you think you're going to sprinkle the blood after that afternoon after shkia, or you think about the flesh and the fats was meant to be eaten by night, and you think mishiyala with shachar, you know what? I'm going to put them as to follow tomorrow when already the time expired, or I'm going to eat it tomorrow. Or kachim and what about shalomim that can be eaten for 2 days a night? As far as the blood is concerned, it makes no difference. If you think you can spray the blood beyond shkia, it's already pigul. And if you're thinking about the fats, even though you're allowed to eat 2 days and 1 night, that's you, the person, but the mizbeach you have all day and night, and that's it. And if you thought about the flesh, if you think about that, you can eat the meat the following night after the 2 days, it is pigul. Clearly, that at night already is considered nice. I would have thought, since you don't burn it till the following morning, maybe you should be able to eat a shlom at night. And it makes sense. Why does it make sense? Let's compare it by analogy to other kabbanas. Kabbanas that normally eaten 1 day and 1 night. What's the din? You can eat it by day and the following night. So karban shlamim, which is 2 days, the chayla should eat 2 days and the following 2 nighs. The din is vachin cholim echad is vachin cholim yom, mas vachin cholim echad laylach, and the night follows them. Av vachin cholim yom, laylach, and the night should follow them. Tamalayim, it says in pasuk, bahanoise, and that's left over from the carbon. Ad yom. What do you mean it's left over ad yom? What kind of expression is ad yom until the day, till the third day? Just say whatever's left over the carbon, burn on the third day. What's ad yom? So we dash an ad as if oid, but oid yom nechel. As long as it's still there, you can eat. And but you cannot eat it. You cannot eat it the night only while the second day you can eat it, not the night of the third. Yochel yisra miyatzo. What are you waiting for? Burn it straight away. It didn't make sense. Zevachim Daf some kabbalas eat for 1 day and a night, and some eat 2 days. Those kabbalas eat only 1 day and a night. Take it sefer after you eat, you have to burn. Av zvachim hanecholish nayam. It's not 2 kabbalas that eat for 2 days. Take it sefer after you eat it, you burn it. So the chayri should burn it the following night. Karban shlamim. It says b'yom hashlishi be'eish yisarif. The third day you should burn it. B'yom atasarif, you burn it by day. But you don't burn it at night. Next class of kachim kalim, habachoyer. Habachoyer is unique that it's like we learned before already. It's like a shlamim. You can eat it 2 days and 1 night, even though you didn't make it a carbon. It's automatic. Hamaiser and maiser behema. That's only 1 day and 1 night. The hapesach. That's only at night. Kochim kalim, they're all considered kochim kalim. So therefore, shchitas and mechoma, because anyway you want. The damon tone, but here's different. The sprinkling is only matana achas. You only sprinkle 1 spray. Ubevad sheyitni keneged hayisayid, and you place it which side of the base of the mizbech the yisayid. Where is that again? The side of the mizbech facing the base of Mikdash, that's the western side, ma'aravis. the side facing where you shech the kocha, which is toughened, and then you have one amma on the east side when you walk up the steps, and you have one amma on the south side where the ramp is, because the rest belongs to the tribe of Yehuda, and therefore we didn't build anything there. As far as the Korban Pesach is concerned, we already had before Machlekes Tanaim, whether it's sprinkling the blood or whether it's shvicha. And we had a Machlekes made a bracha, whether the Korban Pesach is included in the Korban Chagiga, in a normal Zevach. Whether we do shvicha, we do pouring, or we sprinkle. Anyway, Shina B'Chalasan, the way you eat it is different. It's not the same, even though the three kabbanas, we bunch them together, they're not really one set. Habachoy, who could eat a b'chor nechel kohen? But ma'isa behem l'chol, anybody. Benechol b'chol, you can eat any you want. B'chol ma'achol, you can prepare any way you want. L'shnei yamim, for 2 days, and v'layla echad, and one night. Now Pesach obviously does not fit into that role. HaPesach nechel v'layla, now he says Pesach is different. Pesach can only be eaten at night. Ve'ein nechel el chatzos, so this is not just a precaution to stop at midnight. This is, you can only eat till midnight, which follows Rav Elazar ben Azariah. And ve'einu nechel el menuyev, it can only be eaten by those who were nominated to be part of it. Ve'einu nechel el tzoli, you can only eat it roasted. So the Gemara, man tane, who is the tana of this Mishnah that says that you actually sprinkle the blood by a Korban Pesach, not that you pour the blood? So the Gemara, Rabbi Yisrael, it says a pasuk. It says it says that it says it talks about b'choid. It says the b'choid of a shoyer, whether the b'choid is a shoyer, whether the b'choid is a lamb, or whether the b'choid is a goat. They are kodesh. You should sprinkle the blood of mizbeach. It says dam mum in plural, and it says chelbam, and they're fats. Now, what are you coming? We're talking about one b'choid. Why did it say in plural? It's coming to include other kabbanas. Rabbi Shagul says chel boy le'nemer, singular chelbam. Limit to teach you, we're talking about more than one carbon. We're talking about b'choyer, but we're also talking about ma'aseh behema, the 10th animal, and we're also talking about Korban Pesach. Shetu'unin matan damim, all of them have to be sprinkled, not like others say that the blood has to be poured. The emudin, the gabi mizbech, the fats go on the mizbech, keneged hayisai, corresponding to the side of the mizbech, which has that yisai, that base. Minalan, how do I know? Amar Rab, how do you know that you need sprinkling in all of them? Amar Elazar, ask, we learn out zrika ma'oila. We learn out spraying from a carbon oila. Here it says zrika, and by an oila says zrika. The oila gufa menon. How do you know that an oila as well that you have to sprinkle with the yisaidis? The chesiv says el yisaid mizbeach oila. It says that you should spray it on the outer mizbeach, and he uses the expression mizbeach ha'oila. The mizbeach of it says the mizbeach of the oila. What is the mizbeach ha'oila? We're talking about the outer mizbeach to tell you that this din applies to all kabbanis. It has to be on the yisaid. Lamad al oilas chayvish to una yisaid. That has to be on the side of the yisaid. If you're comparing all the kabbanas that we're learning from Oila, should be shtei matana sheina. But why do you say that a b'choy and a pesach and a ma'aseh you only sprinkle once, matana achas? If we are learning from Oila, and therefore you say we need that to spray on the side where there's a yisoid, and that's why. So then the din should also compare to an Oila that you should spray on 2 corners, and that spreads out. It's really all 4 sides get blood. Avkam matonish shtemedain abba. But Abai says, I'll tell you how we know. Why by oila does it say the word saviv? It says you should bring the blood. You should spray the blood. Saviv. Saviv means around, not just one corner, but saviv all around. It says saviv by oila, and then when it comes to a korban chatas, it says the same thing. You should sprinkle the blood. It says if they're also saviv around. Why does it say saviv around there? But it talks about the maluyim there, and so habishnei ksur gecha. These are 2 psukim that tell you that only these kabbanas, the oil and the chatas, you need more than just one sprinkle. It has to be saviv. Now, the difference is how it's done. The oil you spray, twice, and then it spreads the blood so to 4 sides, and the chatas you actually, do it on all 4 sides. But since you have 2 psukim, chol shnei ksuvim boink echad ein melandim, we have 2 psukim telling you the same thing. You don't compare anything else to it. So everything else you only spray once. This only makes sense to Adam Malam. You don't learn from two psukim if they're both saying the same thing. So you do learn even two psukim. What are you going to say? So we answer, Havi Osham Shloisha. Osham makes it three. Shloisha Vadai E Malam. Three psukim, definitely you cannot learn anywhere else. That's how we know. Everywhere else, you only sprinkle once. We'll stop here. Good luck. We'll continue tomorrow.